Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today I have Diana Garcia on the show, and we're going to talk about rural matters. In other words, we're going to talk about the things that are going on in the world that's potentially affecting people's mental health, their finances, and even their health. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. Good morning, Diana. How
Good
you
morning
doing?
and come on back.
Look, I'm so energetic this morning. I got up early and I didn't really prepare for this because we have such good chemistry when we have conversations, and our conversation can go on and on and on and on. But I got
We
up and
do.
I did my little workout, and then I started watching my little shows on Netflix, and here we are.
Yay. Yeah, we do. And truthfully, I've never done any research or anything for anything that we do beforehand.
Yeah.
Because we usually can, talk at the hip and give our feelings and also hopefully facts about
Yes.
what's happening. And so that's a good place to be when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I know yesterday we kind of was trying to come up with a topic and decide what we was going to talk about, and we just said, you know what, let's just talk about what's going on in the world because that's seemed to be a big topic now, which is many subtopics under that. Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Well, especially with the clientele that we deal with, there's a
Yeah.
lot of fear that's happening. So
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of conversations and a lot of calls with
Yeah.
people who, are on Medi-Cal,
Yeah.
Medicare,
Yeah.
and they're really worried about what's happening. And
Yeah.
then Social Security
Yes.
with the shutdown that's happening. So
Yes.
there's so many things that are happening. And then of course with people, the Black and brown community that are worried about what should
Yes.
they do, where should they
Right.
go, what are
Right.
their rights, if
Right.
they have any. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of topics going on right now with a lot of our clients,
Yeah.
and well, especially the people that I'm out because I'm out in the homeless world,
Yeah.
and people just calling asking questions about different things. So
Yeah.
it's very relevant in what I do and
Yeah.
my daily things.
Yeah. And I know some of the clients or people are losing their EHV vouchers, which is emergency home vouchers.
Yes.
Um,
And that's a big thing that's happening. And a lot of them that I've talked to, which is really sad, they've kind of put their head in the sand.
yeah.
They're like, I'm thinking that they're gonna find something else so we can keep this. And it's like, no, it's gonna be cut.
Right.
And
Exactly.
we need to come up with a plan with us. Let's see what we can
Right.
do. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, you know what? I will just wait. Because I
Yeah.
know with the housing authority, we had a flyer that went out to all of the people because we don't know all of the people that are at risk of losing their what's happening with that
Yeah.
voucher, that subsidy. And so
Yeah.
they sent it out. Out of that whole list of however many it was, only six people reached out to us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that only two of them are engaging with signing up for the 30% of income on housing, which is a long list in itself. But
Right.
they just seem to be like, well, I think things will work out. And I'm like, no,
No.
come the 26th, that subsidy is gone.
Right.
And you know there's going to be a lot of repercussions because of that
Yeah.
particular program. But you know, we can only do what we can do, and
Right.
try to give the resources that we can. Because
Yeah.
I know January 1st, when things are probably in the middle of January of 26, it's going to be a madhouse.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
and so, all you can do at that time is just triage, and it's actually going to happen probably 3 months after that, because people go to eviction, not paying their
Right.
rent, and that process. So,
Right.
26 is going to be a tough beginning of the year for a lot of our clients out there, or people that we work with. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that totally affects that. And I don't know that there's anything that can be done to stop that or extend it. Um, could always help they could always hope for a
Right.
miracle, but
Yeah.
I doubt that will happen.
Yeah. And I know that that decision came out of nowhere. Folks, the providers received an email, and of course, there had to be a discussion among the providers, and so the staff, had to kind of talk to the clients and kind of work with them and really communicate this reality. Because, like you said, a lot of them just think that, oh no, and not realizing that next year is things are going to change drastically with the voucher being cut. I know some of the proactive measures that has been taken was try to find them housing that they would only be able to have to pay 30% of their income or 40% of income and things like that, and then forfeit the voucher now so they could have long-term housing stability. You know,
Yeah, and that in itself, even if they got accepted at a 30% of income property, they're feeling like they're losing out.
right,
They're
right,
losing money by trying to do that, but you got to think long term.
right, exactly, exactly,
Because and that's a conversation to have with somebody that might not. And then you have the clients who have a hard time understanding and comprehending what all this garbly gook is coming to
right.
you in the mail. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot of they got to do the law and this and that, and it's like,
Right,
I don't have time for that. But
right.
they have to really pay attention,
Yeah,
and it's sometimes it's hard for people to do that because of their, I call it abilities, not
yeah,
disabilities, but their
yeah,
abilities of understanding and comprehending as to what's happening.
yeah. Well, that's why it's important that they have, a support system, whether it's through an agency or like a family member or friend, because a lot of them, they don't really understand. I know there are people that I work with who was able to get the letter that the clients received, and they were able to go to their home and sit down with them and explain to them what this letter actually meant, what was the con. And like you said, some clients, they didn't understand, they didn't really care to really hear about it at that time, and others, there was a sense of panic.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Then you got the other spectrum, as you said. They're panicking. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh my God, I'm gonna in it." And I know we don't want panic to happen, but at least somebody who's at least looking to see, hey, what can I do? At
right,
least you could calm and
right,
say, this is what we can do. And then we throw out other options that are maybe, out of the box, so to speak.
yeah,
Maybe keep where you're living, because it's so
right,
hard to find affordable housing. And
yeah,
maybe there's a way that you can come together with another family member or somebody that you're close to, and share the costs.
right,
And and so that's a lot of things that we've been brainstorming with different clients when they're having that situation anyway, whether it's
yeah,
with a voucher or a loss of income, just
right,
to make sure that they keep their housing, because affordable housing is very, very difficult to get into and rare.
yeah,
So when especially when there's so many people looking.
right, right.
So
Do
that's
you
another thing that can happen if they're open to it. But a lot of people are, I don't want to live with that. I don't want to live with anybody. But
exactly?
you have to have affordable rent too. And if you share the cost, then that
Yeah,
gives you more success of succeeding.
Yeah, yeah. Do you foresee this being kind of like a snowball effect in different areas of people who are receiving some sort of assistance, whether it's through food stamp or Medi-Cal? Like, do you see this just, you know,
Absolutely,
okay,
absolutely. And I see it, it's going to happen in California, but I
okay,
see the red states having more issues than we do because of California and
yeah,
because of the resources that we have here. Because there's other entities and nonprofits that possibly can step in and help.
right,
But when you look at the other states that don't have the same nonprofits that we do, because we're very
right,
fortunate because we have a huge population, and then
right,
we have all of these things that can help and maybe not correct everything that's happening from the federal government, but at least have something in there to kind of do a little bit of subsidy.
right,
Like the food banks, because we have a lot of food banks in, well, in
hmm,
Placer, Nevada County, we have food banks, and people don't know about that. And
right,
so when EBT gets cut from the people who are no longer going to be eligible, at least they have those resources.
right,
And if they do have Medi-Cal, because Medi-Cal and um, EBT, they have two different. There's different standards or different requirements of the federal government.
yeah,
So there's two things happening with Medi-Cal because the EBT requirements are different than Medi-Cal. So
right,
if there's still Medi-Cal, then they still have other entities that might be able to help them. Like nonprofits like Moms on Me. Not
yeah.
There's other there's other
Meals
places
on
where they can get
Wheels,
Meals on Wheels, and then there's
Wheels. So,
Moms on Meals, which is there's
okay,
so many different things, and then they have Roots, which can help with people who have medical foods that need to happen. So there are other things that can help them supplement their food once EBT gets cut for if they get cut. Plus they have the food
yeah,
banks. So,
yeah.
but they have
It-
to know about these resources.
right,
So
right,
hopefully they're asking those questions, and that's what our hope is. So, uh,
yeah. And like you said, it is important to know these resources. That's why it's good to have like you know, conversations like we're having, or, folks going to community events and, promoting these resources in the community, like the library or health fairs or places like that. Because a lot of people, they really don't know. They just,
well, we just recently had the senior fair, big fair
right,
in Placer County, in
right.
Roseville, and I
Yeah,
love that fair because everybody, nonprofits, the county,
yeah,
all of those entities come together. The police department, probation,
yeah,
all of those, they're all in one spot, especially with the seniors because they have different fairs that are specifically for different community people in our community that
yeah,
might need assistance. And the problem with that, though, especially with the homeless community, as I've found over the years, is trying to let them know when those fairs are available so they can
right,
go. Because if you're not somebody that's, looking at the library, looking at those flyers that are out, not looking in that place where on your email or your social media. I hate to use social media, but that they can see that these things are happening. But
right,
if they have a case manager, or like with Medi-Cal, or if they get information from 211, then they'll know about those events. So I hope that a lot of them will reach out when they're in need, because a lot of
yeah.
times they don't, and sometimes until it's an emergency. And but that's the hope of the communities that we serve.
Right, right. Excuse me. So moving forward on the next topic, because I want to kind of talk about, like we talked about, not just homeless people, but just things that's affecting the community as a whole, whether it's California community, Chicago community, or wherever. I know yesterday, me and you kind of talked about the new COVID shot that's coming
Oh,
out.
yes, and it's already out.
Oh, is it?
It's already out, and it depending on your provider, they if you don't have a need,
Yeah,
you have to pay a copay. Where before anybody who wanted the COVID shot got it for free.
exactly.
So now the federal government is it shut that down, which is really unfortunate. Uh,
Right.
because there, you know, if you're not, I know people have like a certain health issue. They're a
Right.
certain age, or they have certain health conditions, or wherever they work in the community, then they can get those shots still, depending on. And then if you have health insurance, it's usually,
Yeah.
but there might be a copay now. When
Yeah.
I think it's really I think it's really important, even though it's not required anymore. But
Yeah.
as we sit here now today, COVID is going rampant through many of our communities.
Yes.
You know, I've known 4 people personally that
Uh-huh.
have got COVID this next round of COVID,
Yeah.
which they said is not too terribly bad, but sorry, I just want to make sure I was plugged in my
Yeah.
computer. And I'm like, is it charging?
I had to do that too before we I got on.
And so you know, it's important that people know that there is still a next phase, so to speak, COVID shot, but to look to see what resources are if your doctor thinks that you might need it.
Yeah.
And I'm you know, I'm one of my good friends used to say, "You're a good soldier," because I mean, when you know, those shots come out, I'm on it because of the
Yeah.
community that we serve and the people that I'm around. I mean, I
Yeah.
want to do everything I can do to be preventative, along with the flu shot. Because you
Yeah.
got the flu shot, because they're like, oh, okay, I got the flu shot. It doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about COVID. The COVID shot. That's not
Yeah.
true. There's two
Right.
different things happening there.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's just like the flu. No, it's not just like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we need to have immunity, you know, like even a herd immunity on passing that along
Right.
as it develops and gets more COVID, gets more out there in the communities with people who don't have immunity to it. So, but I think it's very important not to make it so negative. I don't know why it turned into a negative thing
Yeah.
because it saved millions of people.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a tough thing. I don't know what's happening with the clientele that you guys are with, because it could happen in the different, you know, transitional permanent housing, because it's such a closed community.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, once it happens with one, it happens with others, like what happens in a
Yeah.
home with your
Right.
family and your community. So I
Yeah.
don't know how it works with your community at
Yeah.
work.
Well, we have had clients that have contracted COVID, um, you know, and what we normally do is ask them to, you know, kind of isolate themselves. We can't force them to, but wear a mask, wipe down. And, you know, the good thing about that, most of the time they tell the other folks living with them. So we don't have to.
That's good.
Yeah, so we can't disclose that. So once that information is out that comes from them, then we can help everybody in the house to, you know, to stay safe and be careful and different things like that. We don't ask them to you know to move forward with their daily routine in terms of the program expectation, like cleaning up or cooking and different things like that. You know, so we try to work with them and make sure that you know everybody is safe. But when it happened in PSH at the you know with the apartments and different things like that, that's a little bit more easier to manage because they all have their own individual unit. But in transitional, when they're in shared room living, that makes it a little bit more complicated.
Oh,
So
absolutely. And then we have the HIPAA. Uh,
yeah,
HIPAA
yeah,
is huge. I mean, it's just like being in the workplace with coworkers, you
yes,
know, that will have it, but there's nothing you can't really tell anybody unless they
right,
tell them. And
right.
that kind of used to piss me off, especially if you share an office. Because
Yes.
if you share an office with somebody, and they get COVID, I think they should tell you.
I agree. I agree 100%.
But because of the HIPAA laws, they don't have to.
Yeah.
And that happened to me one time, and I was just pissed because, and I told that person afterwards when they told me after they had been out, I'm like,
Wow.
what is wrong with you? Do
Yeah.
you know what happens to the people that I am with, not only professionally and with clients, but with my own family members and friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that's how it spreads.
Yeah.
And all you'd have to say is, I've been exposed and that's fine. I would, keep myself away from people who I know could be uh contracting that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so but I know they can't do that, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. And it still makes me pause when somebody has COVID or friends or family do, because I know that it's better than it was because of the
Yeah.
vaccine that has evolved, but still,
Yeah.
we don't know what's happening with this disease because it keeps changing and mutating into something different.
Yeah.
So that's the part that scares me
Yeah.
more than actually getting, because knock on wood, I'm still a COVID virgin.
Yeah.
Never got it.
Oh,
So
wow. Nice.
and that, and I've always been a big hand washer anyway, so
Yeah.
I think that helped the process. And then I used to wear the mask all the time.
Yeah.
So and I still do if I go into an event where I feel like, ah, you know what, there's a lot of people here and it's really close quarters, I'm putting my mask on,
That's
just because
good.
you don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, down for however long it might take me
Yeah.
to get better. But it's hard in our community because there's nothing, or the professionally, because the people that we work with, they might not be so forth, with
Right.
what's happening with them.
Yeah.
And I still think there's still a stigma about COVID, almost like you've done something wrong
Oh, yeah.
by
Oh,
getting
yeah.
it. It's like, you got COVID? Oh, it's
Hmm.
just the flu now. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the flu. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's doing something really bad to your body. I mean, there's a lot of people that have had, they got these COVID, um, like the lungs are from past COVID.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a couple people that I know they've gotten it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's just like, what are you doing? Are you not washing your hands? I'm
Yeah.
thinking that. I wouldn't say that, but it's
Yeah.
like, prevention. I think we have to really hammer on that, but I know it gets poo-pooed right now in our government.
Yeah.
They're not really making it a thing now. Now it's like
Right.
it's fake news. This isn't really happening, but it really is.
Hmm. I have to agree with you on that because I know somebody recently who was had COVID. Actually, it was two people. So I know that it's still happening. I know that it's still going around. I think you're 100% correct. The government is kind of downplaying it. And so we're downplaying it, because most folks going off what they hear and see on the news, and so if
As
the,
we should,
right, yeah,
as
yeah,
we
as we
should, because
should.
they're supposed to be the experts.
Yeah.
But I always say to any of my clients when we talk about this, is like, you need to talk to your doctor about this,
Right.
especially when they
Exactly.
say, oh, but this. And I'm like, just talk to your doctor.
Exactly.
Doctor is the one your doctor is
Right.
gonna knows you better than any other entity.
Right.
So ask the questions to your doctor.
I agree. Do you feel like, because in the beginning it was obviously a big deal back in 2020 when it came about. And we know that, it's kind of being downplayed now, but do you feel like people still need to take this seriously because it can, ultimately affect your health? And
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. Just because of the things that happen, not maybe at that moment, but
Yeah.
what it really, once it gets in your body, like a
Yeah.
lot of people are having issues with their lungs. Then
Right.
it brings up a condition with the heart. Then it
Right.
brings up a condition with what's happening with their pancreas and even their liver because
Yeah.
of what it's done to their body. And
Yeah.
I believe, or it just looks to me as this thing mutates, we don't know what its end game is until it's eradicated. Um,
Right.
and
Exactly.
as it mutates, what else is it going to do to the body that you might not feel, even if you had a, like, oh, my symptoms with COVID was just a little, like a little cold. You
Yeah.
don't know what it did to your body. You don't know the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
Because I long term COVID um, is is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen to colleagues, clients, and family members, where they
Yeah.
still have those issues, even though they don't have COVID anymore. But
Yeah.
by having that, what it's done to their body and how
Yeah.
it's made them not totally back to where they were ever again, uh,
Yeah.
which is quite scary because I know this thing is evolving, and
Yeah.
I think we should totally take this thing seriously.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I know there's times when, I would, feel under the weather, so to speak. And I do take the a COVID test, but still, and I know I should stay home sometimes from work. I'll go in there and I have on a mask but there's times I would go to work and then run out the office and forget to put on the mask and stuff like that. And I do think about that. I do think about like, well, you have to think about not just yourself, but everybody else. Because just because you feel in this way doesn't mean that somebody else should be subject to potentially catching what you're catching. Maybe, if it's a cough or a sore throat or whatever. So I'm one of the ones that I need to kind of be more mindful of that, is what I'm trying to say in so many words.
Well, even if you think about
Yeah.
the flu that's happening, because there's a lot of people who die from the flu that have
Yeah.
different ailments and lung issues and whatever thing that's happening. People going through cancer treatment,
Right. Yes.
their immunity is all the way down,
Yes.
and but those things could potentially kill them
Yeah.
because of your immune system being not able to correct it. So I'm a big thing about shots and
Yeah.
vaccines, and
Yeah.
so I'll set it up and get all two, three of them on one day, and then take, because I know what'll happen. Because when I get vaccines, I get a fever.
Yeah.
I'll have a fever for at least 24 hours, sometimes 48, and that's
Yeah.
what my body does. It's always done that since I can recall.
Yeah.
So I'll just do them all at once, which usually the vaccine people are going, you want to do all these at once? I'm like, yeah, just get them done.
Yeah. You like, don't
I got my
prolong it.
I got my soup ready. I'm gonna be gone for, I'm gonna be have to just hunker down for 48 hours and
Yeah.
let it go through.
Yeah.
So I'm a big vaccine person, because it's just, I don't know why we wouldn't. We got the professionals and the people that know what they're doing, making those
Yeah.
for all of us to be healthier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't
But
want to be the killer of somebody.
No, I get it. I get it. But you said one thing that just brought something to my attention, but there are a lot of communities who don't
Eh,
trust the
well,
government.
not only personally, as we
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but professionally, as we
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's
Right.
it's it's in all of our different entities here, because
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, how do you? I know I'm coming to, because it's now that the weather is getting cooler and we're going to be indoors, and
Right.
I know all my anti-vaxxer family and friends. It worries me
Yeah.
because they really think that the government is just what, how they are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can really see that based on history, which I think we should all understand and look at, especially
Right.
with the Black community, what
Yeah.
they did to the
Yeah.
Black community as far
Yes.
as the test subjects, so to speak. See,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then not only that, to even go a little bit back further, but what they did in the concentration camps, the
Yes.
Nazis did all
Yes.
those experiments and stuff, where they just did these things just to see what happened to the human guinea pigs, so to speak.
Yes.
So I totally understand,
Yeah.
but and it's, I don't know. I would hope that we have evolved more.
Yeah.
I hope. I know
Yeah.
that's not always the case,
No,
but
for some people it's not.
it's not. They can't move past that. But
Exactly.
I think it's important, and it's a subject that should be brought up, I think, with people that are maybe open to the having the conversation. I know with the
Right.
older population of family and friends, it's like, nope, ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna
Right.
happen,
They,
which I totally understand.
yeah.
But I hope with the the new generation and people knowing what the history is, because that's important, but just
Right.
being informed as to
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah. I know when and you know when this thing first came about, when they were telling, folks that like your employer, for example, when they, mandated that folks at work get the shot, or pretty much you're gonna be terminated, because there was some places like that because it was, they mandated. And I know in the beginning, I was so reluctant because I was paranoid. I was scared. I was, you're hearing all these things, people dying, even though they got the COVID shot. And oh, if you get the COVID shot, years later, you're going to get sick and all this, crazy stuff. But I did finally make the decision to get the shot. And I had so much fear. When I tell you so much fear,
Oh, I can't even imagine.
be beyond fear, okay? I took I took my brother with me, to get shot. He didn't get it. He was not gonna do it. But I took him with me, and I'm like, okay, the needle was real thin, and it took her about 15 minutes for me to let her do it, even though I was there. And she had to leave out and come back because I all this stuff, this fear, this craziness is going through my mind, and I'm like, oh my God. And as soon as I get it, my arm is gonna fall. It was just crazy. So finally, I got it and stuff, and I did get a little bit sick, but not like I thought I was. I think my mind was sort of playing tricks on me and stuff, and so it was okay. It was okay. So I was more prepared to take the second round, because
You knew what
obviously
happened.
the things that, yeah, yeah, because oh man, it was bad. It was bad, bad, bad.
I bet you got a lot of negative feedback by your family and friends who do not believe in it. I bet
Oh,
you're probably, you're out of here, man. You get,
100%.
you're a vampire.
100%. 100%. Folks was not taking a shot. Oh, probably about, in my family, in all honesty, I probably would say maybe 5 or 6%, if that, probably took the shot. No, they was
Wow.
they
Wow.
they weren't gonna do it.
That is,
Yeah.
oh, that's wow.
Yeah.
That stat is not shocking, but it's scary for me
Yeah.
for our communities, because the same thing happened in my family
Yeah.
when that was all happening. And even on the Caucasian side of family and friends, they were
Yeah.
still paranoid. Which I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you paranoid?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
after you, they're after
Right.
black and brown people.
Right. Right. Hey, but they couldn't trust them either. Oh
They didn't
man.
either. And then I had a really good friend who's guy we've been friends for 35 years, and she's totally conservative, and I'm like, you're it came from your president.
Right.
Why
Right.
aren't you going to do this? And it's like, well, I had a friend of a friend who died because they had the shot. And I'm like, I I don't see how you can equate that,
Right.
because you don't know all the facts of the friend of the friend. Maybe
Right.
there was something else happening. It's like,
Right.
well, after they got the shot, a week later they died. Well, that's not good stats to me, because you don't know all of the information about that person.
Right.
And it's like, no, it was because of the shot. I'm like,
Right. Right.
wow, I wouldn't have
Right.
came up with that stat,
Yeah.
and to say, based on that person, a friend of a friend, I'm
Yeah.
not getting the shot.
Right. Yeah. That's how people think. That's exactly how people think.
It is. It's like, okay, so this person died because they got hit by a bus, but they had the COVID shot beforehand. So, but that's why they. To me, that
Exactly.
it's the same. It's the same logic. It's like,
Exactly.
because they got the COVID shot and they got killed by the bus, it was because of the COVID shot.
Yeah, because the COVID shot didn't allow them to move out the way fast enough. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
The logic just did not. I didn't understand the logic. I still don't. But that's okay. We have
Yeah.
conversations, which I think we should, and I
Yeah.
think it's very important to have those conversations
Yes. Yes.
without
Absolutely.
without it escalating to, an assassination, as we know, is very, it's happening in a lot of our communities that don't agree with certain people, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but we should have conversations, and that's what we do at a civilized community. Even if
Yeah.
we agree to disagree, that's fine,
Right.
but get the points across, and and have the conversation so we can maybe come to to some kind of agreement,
Yeah.
and if we don't, then we'll come back and meet again and have a conversation, because I
Yeah.
think that even though what's happening in our country, there's a lot of separation happening. I think
Yes.
more people are together than are separated,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about
Yeah.
our United States. I
Yeah.
know a lot of the conservative people that I know, and the liberal, very extremely liberal people, we all care about the same things, I think.
Yeah.
But if you look and turn on certain stations, it's like, oh, look at these people. Oh, look at these people. And they do the division, divisiveness is happening because they want that. So we could look like we're all mad at each other. But I don't
Yeah.
really think that. And
Yeah.
I hope people will look and see that, look at your neighbor. Talk to
Right.
somebody who's conservative that's in your group, because you
Yeah.
have them.
Yeah. Oh
And then
yeah.
when the
100%.
holidays coming up, they're going
Yeah.
to be at your table having turkey
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
ham.
Exactly. That's
And it's
exactly
okay.
right.
It's okay to disagree. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that we have to shoot each other or
Yeah. I
or
agree.
escalate it.
Yeah. I think that's a good segue too, because I want to talk a little bit about the Charlie Clark assassination.
Kirk. Yeah,
Is it Clark?
it's
Kirk?
Kirk.
Kirk. Okay,
Yeah,
why did I put
like
Clark?
Captain
Okay.
Kirk.
Kirk. And I first of all, I did not even know who this individual was until it happened. It was coming up on the news. Friends was telling me about it, social media, and I honestly didn't know who he was. And so, as I began to do my own research and see that he had got a lot of love after he, was assassinated and stuff. And so I did a lot of different research as well, pretty much to see what different communities had to say or how they responded to his assassination. But overall, I think that he there are more people for him or his message and what he stood for than against his message. So,
Well, I have to agree with that,
uh
because I remember when he came to our area.
oh,
He went to
really?
Destiny. Yeah, he went to Destiny Church in Rockland, Roseville area. It's
Okay.
right off of Highway 65. When he came, I remember hearing about it, because conservatives, whatever. I was listening to his message, and it was really frightening,
Hmm.
because my sister goes to that church,
Yeah.
and she was talking. We were talking about him when we were talking, and I'm like, this kind of is scary. How do you
Yeah.
feel like this is going to help our community come
Hmm.
together?
Yeah.
And and then what everybody always throws past him is he's a Christian.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, so when
Exactly.
you say Christian, do you mean Jesus like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Christian? What do you mean by
Yeah.
Christian? Because he's preaching all this, uh, all this, all,
Tell it. Tell it.
racism,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and separation of people, and wanting people to be, put back like 100 years.
Yeah.
I said,
Yep.
how is that Christian? I
Hmm.
don't understand. So we tried to have that conversation, but she got upset with me. So
Yeah.
I had heard about him before, and then and I'm like, free speech. I understand that. Just because somebody talks like that, I don't think anybody should be killed or murdered for that.
Right.
However, where they put him after he got killed is, to me, enraging,
Yeah.
because what that did, in my opinion, my humble little opinion, is that you got to see, and I got to see all these people that just felt like he should be on this pedestal
Right.
when his messaging was
Hmm.
about all these things that should be done to the Black and brown community,
Hmm.
to the gay
Yeah.
and lesbian community,
Uh-huh.
to the trans community, to
Hmm.
women.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that Christian? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
And so that really bothered me, because then you could see, I'll use the word, it's racism what
Yeah.
he was preaching,
Yeah.
because he was separating, everybody else was below the white community, and
Yeah.
that's what he preached. So when
Hmm.
I see people trying to make him into this thing, it's just really surprising to me, because we had, and it happened, and I'll be honest,
Yeah.
this is my, when that happened, I was thinking, oh Lord, hopefully it's not somebody who's gay or lesbian, black or brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, because that's what they were saying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
And then when you find out that it's part of what the all that messaging is, somebody came up and said, you know what, this is wrong, and it
Yeah.
came from their community, that they're the ones that killed him.
Right.
And so I know that's not a good thing to wish, but I was glad that that happened, because then
Hmm.
it would be, I think it would be more pronounced on our on all of the social medias. Look what these black and brown people, or gay
Right.
and lesbian people, or trans people do to our community. They're the ones that killed this guy who should be on a pedestal. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it wasn't one of us,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
because then it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, we see, and we could see how the racism bleeds out, because of the people that are just like, wow, he was a
Yeah.
great person for the United States. And I'm
Yeah.
like, he does not represent the United States, in my opinion, but we have free speech, and we have
Yeah.
to let that speech happen.
Yeah. Yeah. People were definitely mentally affected by his death. I saw folks crying. I mean, I saw folks seem like they was depressed on social media. I mean, I saw a lot of people, it was mentally draining for a lot of people, because obviously a lot of people agree with his message, but I don't think they saw that comment in that way or that day. I know a friend of mine who is Ukrainian. That's actually how I found out about it. A friend of mine's Ukrainian. He started sending me all these text messages and these videos, and he was like, "Oh, another Christian, something, whatever." And so, as I started doing my own research, I challenged him on his beliefs, and so I started sending him videos, and we just disagreed, and we did not talk for about 2 weeks after that, to be totally honest with you. And then he started reaching back out to me again. But once again, I didn't really know of him. I only know of him through something that my friend sent me. Then I started doing my own research. I'm like, oh, okay. I started watching like previous messages. I'm just like, oh, okay. Because I mean, the news and social media was just flooding with, the tragedy that happened and his old messages, and how he was speaking the truth and different things like that. But I mean, people are affected by it, and we all have our own opinions, and yeah, that's that, I guess.
Well, the thing is that that was really tragic, is that this person's uh, murder was caught on video, and there
Yeah.
was different areas or perspectives of that video, and
Right.
people just posted it.
Yeah.
So then it went viral,
Right.
which and so once you get,
Oh,
it's like a virus. Once
yeah.
it gets in there, you can't stop it. But in my opinion, they didn't try to stop it. They
Yeah.
liked it,
Yeah.
because that way it showed, what, what's happening in the division in our country. But
Right.
but I don't think that's what people were still, they were watching it over and over again, and it's like, why are people doing this? There's
Right.
no need to see somebody being murdered
Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter what they were preaching or what they were saying. To
Right,
see somebody murdered is a horrible thing to see.
right.
But they didn't do anything to try to stop that. They
Yeah,
liked it
yeah,
because then it made it more divisible for
yeah,
everybody to show,
yeah,
look what happened to this Christian
yeah,
person.
yeah,
And the messaging was, it's almost like a, gosh, I hate to say this and I'll probably get in trouble for saying it, but he was mostly like a sacrificial lamb
yeah.
because
Wow.
they liked it because it's a turning point for conservatives. It's like,
Wow.
look, this is what's happening to our extreme conservators, I should say. Look
Yeah,
what's happened to our country. We can't even have free speech. Look what's happening.
yeah.
And
Wow.
I and the same thing with um, our president's ear getting shot. When you get when you get somebody, I don't know if you've ever seen a gunshot wound.
Yeah,
So when you see a gunshot wound on cartilage with that kind of rifle or machine gun that was done, there's usually nothing left.
right.
So it's like, how did that happen? I don't know, because it's like, because I mean, my uncle was in WW2 and he's got his legs all shot up.
Yeah,
And I've had family members who have those kind of wounds. When something comes at you like that, it's just shredded. There's nothing
yeah,
left. And
yeah,
so I know that extremist likes those kind of things because then it brings attention to them and their platform. See,
yeah,
see what's happening. See what's
yeah,
happening to our country. So then they can take away these different things that are happening to just the regular citizens.
yeah.
And then it floods, and then it brings out all the people who believe in those things but couldn't say anything before.
Exactly.
And
That's
that
exactly
and
right.
and you know what? And he was a Christian. And I was
Yeah.
just like, wow, have you ever read the Bible?
Right. Right.
Not the Old Testament, the New Testament.
Right. 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 Right.
But that's how I feel about all that. But
Well, and a lot of people are saying too that that the accuser the guy was shot and they were saying that, that they don't think he was shot. They were saying they don't think that he was the one that actually shot Charlie. They felt like he was, you know, yeah, the scapegoat in so many words.
well, yeah, because he was one of them. See, and
Right.
that's the thing, is that he was one of them, which has happened all over our United States.
Right.
They're always one of them.
Yeah.
But if you get that one random illegal person that kills somebody, it becomes a big, conversation with the conservative
Yeah.
stations. Look what they're doing. Well, what
Right.
about all these other people that have killed in our schools? And look what if you look at the demographics of those people, they're white males,
Yeah.
conservative males.
Yeah.
And so why do they don't talk about that point, especially when all those kids got killed? Um, I thought for sure the narrative would change, but it did not.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though. They always have to. It always comes down to the race, as you know,
Oh,
and
100%.
and then to say, oh no, he didn't do it. It's like, oh my gosh, there's videos showing him doing it. He
Right.
he confessed to his roommate that he did it.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that he didn't do it?
Right.
And so that's what scares me about our federal government right now, where they might want to change some things because
Yeah.
there's no checks and balances right now as to what's happening. But
Yeah.
but all they have to do is to allude to it and let the social media go as it goes, to make sure that it's something that's comfort, that's not real, but oh, it might be.
Yeah. Exactly. No, exactly. That's exactly right. Let's talk about this federal shutdown
Oh,
and how it's affecting people and will affect people.
well, the thing is that's really scary because I have a lot of colleagues who live work in the federal government, and
Yes.
and I'm worried about the shutdown for them. And
Yeah.
as it stands right now, they're okay, the ones that I know personally.
Yeah.
However, what they're talking about doing is not letting them have the back pay,
Okay.
having them work for free, changing the the standing rule. It's not their fault that there's not a budget.
Right.
It is
Right.
not their fault, but and they're mandated workers, and to take their pay away from it, and then now they want to talk about cutting some more of the government
Yeah.
in sections that are not oversight at all. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this has too much money here. We're going to cut this budget
Yeah.
without any oversight at all. And in my opinion, this is why it came to this,
Yeah.
because as we know, the three branches of our government are run by Republicans.
Right.
They keep trying to blame the Democrats, but I have to disagree with their narrative as to why, not only why, but also what they're saying out in their spectrum of conservative news report. Because the thing is that they talk about immigrants getting benefits.
Yeah.
No, that does not. That is such a lie. But
Right.
people believe it. Even people in my own world. It's like, well, all these people are at Kaiser, and that's why it's flooded because they're the legal aliens. And it's like, no, that can't happen. They can't get benefits. They might
Right.
be paying into it, but they have
Right.
no rights to any benefits. That is a
Right.
lie. They're like,
Right.
no, it's not. I'm like, I I work with this community.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean,
Right.
if they go to emergency or their kid then there's something that'll happen because that's why your ERs are going to be flooded.
Right.
Because if you have, there's no other way, you can't do any pre medical stuff, then that's going to happen. But but with the government, that's what they're doing. It was the shutdown. That's my opinion. They want to
Yeah.
just be able to cut
Yeah.
and continue to blame the Democrats when it's not that. Um,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just trying to. I'm going to say this. Another thing that's not going to be popular. They want to get rid of the Obamacare,
Yes, of
and you know
course.
why? Because it's his name. It's his
Wow.
legacy. It's just another thing for this thin person, skin person to
Yeah.
get that off the books
Yeah.
because that was a great thing that happened.
Yeah.
And so that could be taken off and then you save all this money because of all these people are going to be off medical insurance.
Yes.
And then what's going to happen to those people?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
that's my thought on the shutdown.
Yeah.
It's more of a cut in gut.
Yeah.
It's not about coming together. I mean, he even said he didn't want to come together with the different entities to come together to see if they can come to a resolve.
Yeah.
It's it's done on purpose so they can get whatever they want. There's no
Yeah.
oversight.
Yeah. How do people prepare for stuff like this? Like the ones that is ultimately going to affect, like what can they do? Like how can they ultimately prepare for a situation like this because obviously we know that, when the president was doing his campaign, I mean, we kind of knew what was coming, so to speak. I mean, obviously, we knew if he, was selected as the president, certain things was going to get cut or certain communities going to be affected more so than others. How can what could have been done to prepare for federal budget cuts or federal shutdown, should I say?
I don't know that there's anything that we can prepare to do because the plan is that we all work together to try to come to a resolve.
Yeah,
Um, but in this case, I think it was done on purpose.
yeah,
And I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that the only way to prepare for something like this is just to, hunker down and just ride the storm for right now.
yeah,
Because the average Joe Blow, all of us, there's nothing that we can really do except for the number one thing is vote.
yeah,
If we're targeted of this, we vote.
yeah,
Like we have an election that's coming up right now for in California, it's a special election to make sure that that we have the correct number of Congress and senators in the Democratic section as we are going to have in the Republican states that they changed in Texas. So
Yeah.
vote is number one.
Yeah.
Number two is to just ride the storm for right now,
Yeah.
because this isn't always going to be like this.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be like this. If we can ride the storm together and know that we can do this together,
Yeah.
and not to live in fear, and to know that there is a community out there that will be,
Mm.
on your side, and
Yeah.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because when the temperature rises to panic and anxiety, that you're not a person that can cope with something that's happening, especially when you got a lot of stuff being thrown at you.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so you got to have your, I want to say that, your tribe, so to speak, the
Yeah.
positive tribe, so
Yeah.
you can talk about things that are happening,
Yeah.
whether it's your friends, family, and having those resources with a counselor or a psychiatrist if you need to. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's what I think we need to do right now, is just ride the storm.
Yeah. That's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.